혼자 숨는가. 쉬어건조, 견딘건조, 지방의 시절 생기겠지. 이 매발 가운데 로스타 차고, 네, 군대 차고, 이 군대 차고, 뭐라대, 뭐다, 지나 쉬어건조, 라규 렘바지니, 개봉음악이 차고, 개봉음악이 쉬어건조 차고, 견딘건조 추주고 있다. 얘는 사기건조들, 얘는 돈 받고 인상 시라기 진청을 당한 남백만 치면 진청돼. 괜히 전부 돈 받지. 아니 걔로다 춘들이 이렇게 남아서 캠보디아 빠진 거 돈 받지. 아니 춘들이 메이크업을 인다기다. 인생을 돈 받지 말이네. 대세가 주시네 돼. 남아지. 밤에 배 수소 생기는 민지만 제일 인상 시부지 진짜로 차려. 어떨 때는가 아니 즉 하나 춤추지 내가 춤추지 사나 진짜로 왕비 그거 찾고 어떨 때는 지기가 말해 사가지 배 모두가 이미 다 춤사지나 배 밤말로서 같은 게 록하지나 지고 어떨 때는 지기가 말해 사가지 tontaste que
next page, 94. There's also a saying, construct a fort where the danger is greatest. It is necessary to meditate on the factors which cause your spiritual practice to decline. The text says, and this is from root text, it is also in Tibetan, unlike the previous two sentences. Train consistently to deal with difficult situations. 5 kinds of difficult situation. Firstly, sins, even slight misbehavior towards the 3 jewels, your abbot, spiritual masters, parents, and so forth, who are all very kind to you, is extremely serious. You should be careful not to lose your temper with them. So being careful among many different kind of things or beings. These are specifically kind of selected, and be more kind of careful. And it begins with, as obvious, 3 jewels. 3 jewels, as you know, the actual 3 jewels of refuge. The actual refuge is teachings or dharma. And then Sangha, the community, or the support members, and then the Buddha, like a teacher, and your abbot, from whom you have received teachings or vows, initiation, spiritual masters, parents, and so forth. And these are, considered as even doing a small kind of here translated as a temper, or showing a hatred or negative behavior becomes extremely serious. The reason here is because these are all extremely grateful to you, extremely kind to you. So this is the first difficult situation.
냠자 냠도 안 되겠다. 가리나 미용하야다. 아니 지 자주 지내면 많은 데리 와요. 그래서 아니 되게 안 돼. 이제 샘디 이제 로장이야. 이게 제가 이렇게 처음으로 지금 주거를 하려 했다. 또 다음 말이 투남 지지는 저와지 투남 야버져 버리겠어. 뭐다 뒤순 거야. 어떻게 쓰면 되겠어요? 뒤속까지
Did you do 시드 적었습니다. Spiritual masters, and under that you also see parents. Parents are considered as, of course, extremely grateful, very kind, especially perception or views towards parents. The proper view or the good view is more needed in this kind of in this kind of nation or community, should I say. For children, parents are the one that actually gave them a body, and understanding parents' kind of kindness, gratitude, caring, and the better understanding of this, from children, as well as children being parents, kind of basically part of them. Those proper understanding will be extremely beneficial in kind of making a relationship very sacred, important, and keeping in kind of close to each another. Secondly, as there are many opportunities for disturbing emotions to arise in relation to the members of your family, because you live with them all the time, this requires special training. And secondly, it talks about family members. The reason being, kind of, it says, spending time with all the time, and therefore it allows more timing opportunities for disturbing emotions to arise against each another. And for that reason, this requires, it says, a special training. And the basic point here is that one should have respect towards family members, regardless of, being together all the time.
되게 맞습니다. 라면가는 수협하는 초강기타나 시즈가 되니까 노예요. 그다음 라마스인데 지금 문에 주된 아기 주지 상대 굉장히 마스지 잡고 대표적인 주지 주된 너들이 했어. 어제 주된 이 상하에 내가 맞춰고 때마다 라마차게 맞아? 그러나 주제도 맞춰는 이거 말이지. 이 당부도 라마다 되는게 있는데 시험에 개침 붙이는 거 알았어.
The first, in the first part, three jewels you about spiritual master, parents, and so forth. The pivinal the chode yeba lama na the enginal lama do kujurum. Pivinal to enginal. So just saying, the spiritual master. In English, it's just a spiritual master, but in Tibetan, it is more clearer. It says lama. With whom you have a spiritual connection, spiritual connection. That's what is in Tibetan. But in Tibetan, in English, it just translated as spiritual master. So Geshe-la is making a clarification between a root lama and just regular lama. From whoever you receive teaching, generally, you don't consider somebody from whom you receive teacher as a lama, or I'm sorry, as Tsawe lama or even a lama. To have that relationship, it must come more from kind of a relationship or connection of the mind or thought, and it's kind of inner relationship. And especially when we talk about Tsawe Lama, which we usually translate it as a root lama. Every lama cannot be root lama, and the root lamas are only lamas from whom it differs in tantric or Vajrayana system, from whom you have received instruction, lineages of transmissions, empowerments, those primarily three, and then that becomes one's root lama. In sutra system, from whom you have received your vows and commitments, such as individual liberation vows or the bodhisattvas, and you receive scriptural teachings. And teachings here could be many different types, such as simply kind of teaching of the text, or teaching based on experiences, and then third is again initiation or empowerment. So those three, if you have received from a teacher, that then that teacher or lama can consider as a root lama. In the sutra, we also find to become a teacher or qualified teacher or lama, probably you know those 10 qualifications. So therefore, simply kind of receiving teachings from somebody doesn't mean that teacher becomes your lama. And in case where practitioners has many kind of lamas from whom they have received vows and initiations, all of what we mentioned before, and then which one would be your root lama? His Holiness and his two teachers kind of suggest that the one that you feel closest to your heart, although there are many different lamas, you have received everything from all of them, but then they are certain kind of individual that you feel very close in your heart, and that lama would be your root lama.
rangi lamare lama khona ngone thamal payin ro kadiji ina rangi sangi tama sangi chile juya chanju seba tana chanju seba juya chile juya chanju sebi chile juya thamal batana thamal bi chile mata juya mari sidi ota muri tama lama mabin suji juya re ota tama ne suji lama za che de chung sia de 라밍 문이 차고 말해. 이 소시 대파 땅을 자야 보내 차고. 예. 지 내지 요사. 내지 근데는 미시. 같이 런 담아서나 그 손이 근데 손도 우스네. 잘해 줘야 돼. 랭게 차고 또 쓰여야지. 근데 자신 말에 또 어떻게
we'll stop after this. Attaining what we call spiritual realizations for practitioners or for students, it depends a lot on how a student perceives one's spiritual teacher, and with having a genuine faith, trust, commitment in one's teacher can be immense beneficial, becomes immense factor in attaining realizations. And whether a particular lama is sacred or not, it depends not much about himself or herself, but rather how their students view him or her. And we find in this kind of saying in Buddhism that if you view your Lama equally as an enlightened being, then you receive that level of blessings. And if you view your Lama as a Bodhisattva, likewise you receive blessings. And if you view your Lama as just an ordinary human being, likewise you receive, just an ordinary blessing. And these are the expression or understanding that we find in the traditions of stages of path, text or lamrim, and oral tradition. So, so whether Lama is sacred or not, it depends a lot on students' perspective of, faith, trust, pure or good vision. Any questions? We're going to stop here for today. Yeah, Ren.
Okay, we've been, since Geshe-la mentioned that in the teaching yesterday, we've been discussing the 5 aggregates. And the aggregate of feeling or sensation, which is Pongponga, Sorwe Pongpong.
So,
Are emotions included in that heat? That's the question.
Okay. 뽕뽕아 나올 소외 풍부시오로 디나올 당아 주남 이게 저 소화요로 소화 담은에 요로 다디도 다니 된 상마 소화 디나올 풍부 디나 최고 어려로 소외 풍부 나올 풍부가 나오네.
소화돼도 네가 용으로 와. 아니 순간
So you said yes, it could be all kinds of feelings can come under that aggregate, whether it be happy, suffering, or just a neutral.
And so also physical feelings in that as well.
Yeah, physical as well as mental.
지단이 사제기 외와 탐제 그와 진제 내려자고 사제기를 탐제 그와 진제기래 사메기를 그와 돌제 내려자고 간지 그러래 진줄니기 내려란 진줄니기래
Generally, even within positive or virtuous action, there are two kind of type based or related with the taking of rebirth and cyclic existence. So called what we call contaminated positive activities. Contaminated positive activities, although they are positive, but they are considered as a cause of further reborn in cyclic existence. And then there are positive activities which we called uncontaminated, and those are positive activities or virtues which lead them the opposite way, freedom or liberation from cyclic existence. Tigar geshla land gam chwa de jawa yore moti wada. Tik khanele kan land yor geshla se jo ni tas to was khanele. So you were saying that there are positive activities which although positive but becomes kind of cause of further rebirth. I was just asking what is this related to your questions or not.
This is a follow-up question to Renee's. So emotions, sensation, the six organs of sensation, and the reception of that sensation is preconceptual, right? There's no concept involved, and we overlay conceptualization after we receive the sensual information. See what I'm saying? Like, if I smell a smell, I'm just smelling a smell. It's a smell. But then I say, oh, that smells like dog poop. Then I've conceptualized it. Okay? Now, emotions. Are emotions conceptual in base? Do you have to have a concept before you feel an emotion, or is it pre-conceptual?
The Quran to the Sowa the way you answer and be Sorwa the young sort laureda. Then the Dini Galore Niganyam the young chore or the Quran pedo dish especially now. Chimadushnums and Chimaduja Kasna, Chimaduja Kai, the Chimaduja, the Nashigi Sorwashua, some woman in Belotuja. That is source and Lamsa and Dig Calore, Tatobe, the Dirochine. The key Tore Shallow, the Chesa, the end Danam Jugi, Sorwadoshin and Sokoder Lamsa, the Dick Water Logos at Holor. Then you must see them talk jello. Sorwadi Nalamsa talk by him go relative. Topang to go there, another talk what the chair go to me, Soro Horandi. Then the Koran has the Niga Yam to Yonchugo to do Salam said the color of the Chimacodium said Chimaduja in but the Yeshet and Yam to Lido.
나시다 이로 떠보니라 주번이로 잡을 차대로 거기 가래.
So you're saying, simply kind of smelling, smelling a smell is a function that is done by sensory consciousness of nose, and then conceptualization, or that is done by primary consciousness, which is kind of
conceptual in nature,
which is number 6 in the primary consciousness. So in terms of when we look at these two a subjective point of view, sensory versus I don't know, maybe conceptual, or it's totally kind of two different subject that is experiencing. So therefore, in terms of timing, it could be totally different.
So one is nose consciousness, one is mind consciousness.
those land the waters that you not say nyong that you see again.
이시 뇽 원불라 나시들라 유드테니 다 지니 나시디 끼거와 나시 이게 네반데니 이 나시디 네반데니 이로 또 발라 파 다음부터 내시네 이 이로 또 발라 니오 냠베 다 네반데 딩거와 내신 댕이도 이로 또 받으셔야 돼요.
Sensory consciousness, here we are using a kind of smelling, and smelling is done by nose consciousness, and then the nose consciousness is the one that does the actual kind of meeting with the object, and then it smells, and as soon as it smells, usually it kind of sort of inform to the mental consciousness. And then mental consciousness is the one that kind of brings conviction and discrimination, whether it is bad or not, or ever.
That conviction, that idea is conceptual in nature. It's you're associating that smell with something familiar or something that you know and that you have a concept of, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the deeper, is conceptual designation. But the other question, the deeper question is, are the emotions, like if a person walks into the room that you and I both know, and you've had wonderful relationship with him, and I've had a terrible relationship with him, we're going to have two different emotions to the same person.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you're going to be glad to see him. I'm not going to be glad to see him.
Mm-hmm.
So those emotions seemed like that's in the second skanda.
Mm-hmm.
Form, feelings, and emotions. But it seems like those emotions are based on conceptualizations that you and I have that are different.
Mm-hmm.
Not that same person,
Mm-hmm.
exact same person.
Mm-hmm.
So are emotions conceptual in nature, or are they before concept? It seems like they have to be conceptual.
Yeah. So my problem here is I'm thinking about what to translate that conception back into Tibetan, because there are many different, and usually I use that conception in one Tibetan word, but when I hear it back, it is not always the same. Right. So I don't know whether it is safe or correct when I inform that back to, the Quran did sick deal or the talk about in and Logan, the Quran did special Nashi did Nago Chimonung and the Chimaka and the Ishigi, you talk about a color in Shele, and that day you look talk back in your edit that Chimakas on some edges, some now talk about Shargro. That Chiwa the only in law, talk about Sharad, Peshana, Quran Peshan, the when you mean motion, but you come body now less na and mean motion, but the Korangi middle check agmiosi, near middle shuka guna. When you get some all middle color, Sora bet Kagani lets out all of the near Soroka Uchi, Kutsura near Baladi. That day and Sora the lady color, you look away and later were Manduchigi, you look away then Lego, the talk back, the talk about all of that, and that 60 dollar the women constant in G like some Guru Kagato shirt. The deal Dada did and that Quadada or Nayanchik Lange and Horangi until a quash later. The Toba.
So you Corona topic. Tasangichani, a Kabati Yonsar was Toba the Tasangichani. Rana Magachesadi, you Rangi Tasango, Toba the Pony, Tasandi. 다산데 가르치 친 바로 다사 일 고랑데 근데 이 잡지 근데 용가에 잡아 지 되게 가고야 돼 라나 텐다 기든 지니 디르와 일 고랑원이 맞아 미치기 미숨이 미칠 따이나 미숨나 남좀 만다 되는 거 일찍이나 또박을 차상 마다로니 제발 누구 알았을 때도 인기를
You're saying they're probably right. That is, kind of conceptual thought. That is making that difference. And
You and I would be imputing two different things
mhm.
from the same phenomenon.
다산마다 원차.
Can I add something just, what about a newborn baby that, they cries out of hunger? A newborn baby has a lot of emotion, but
Mhm.
has no ability to have a conceptual designation.
Yeah, or a puppy.
저거는 뭐랑 저어디서 부춘주기 게마타 받은 줄로 서로와 열어려도 서로의 권에 소외의 여와 강실은 소외의 예시대행 요마로서 더 소외의 걸로 거치기 또백이 디디레 라셔들 부구든 줄 요마로로 되니 봐. 더 건설 서로와 여와 강실을 디 요마로로.
까디 요마리라베 배 가버렸다지. 와. 누구다 말아서 남긴 나진지 같이 세 맛이 열어마서 그런 셈나는 차산다. 니 내빠던데 왜 서로하지요. 그리고 아마 많이 봐도 그런 거다 저도 묻어. 한 라면 마시나. 또비 차산 말하지. 계속해서 몇 남의 레상때는 망부지니. 연기 계속해서 뭐 열어있어.
You're just saying that
망부지 제시기도.
that doesn't necessarily has to be that way. Although emotionally, newborn baby can feel and make a differentiate and respond, but I'm still thinking whether it is okay to use that conceptual, thought or not. But I'm using it anyway. So, conceptual thoughts or discrimination, because baby can recognize their mother and their parents, and that is, that is kind of, that discrimination is coming out from conceptual thought, and there could be a lot of other things that might not be coming up at the manifested level or expressing it, because all of these, discrimination or identifying, these are related or based on, human brain or human mind. So it wouldn't be simply kind of, just as you said, just kind of feel it and then behind that there's nothing. Might not be necessarily. That's what he's saying.
May I make a comment? I would like to share with the group. I think I understand what Gosala was saying, we're trying to say, that when each one of us left this prison life, even though our physical body will disintegrate into the ground, but there is an element that will move on to the next life. I'm not sure the word in Tibetan or in English, but from what I have known, it's called alaya. It's like a disease, disease in you.
Alaya.
Okay, alaya, yes. And that move on. Let's say it depends on how you carry on your life in this life. That it's just like a for example, in modern term, it's like the part of the computer that store everything that you did in that lifetime. Bad, good, neutral, is stored. And then depending on how you accumulate, if you accumulate a lot of good deeds, you will be reborn into the next good life. Okay, and vice versa. And so to answer your question, even though in our ordinary observation that we think that baby didn't have any conceptual, but actually they do, because of that store information that they carry with them. Okay, they may not express what they know the way adults do. So that's why we thought that they don't know, but they know. And in terms of in Buddhist practice, what our master tried to teach us is that, just from my understanding, keep in mind, I'm just sharing with you what I know, but I'm still learning. So what I say here may not be totally correct, but from my understanding is that we want to learn from the master that we use our senses to notice things, but we try not to let our preconception overrule, how we act, how we say. So, for example, let's say we're talking about the sense of smell. Okay, so if we smell something, we just smell it. Don't put the label on it. Oh, I don't like that smell, or talking about the sense of seeing. So let's say several people walk into the room. Your senses just capture it and store it in your alaya. Say, okay, that person comes, and the whole time you always try to focus on your compassion. If someone walk into the room and say, you know what, I don't like the way she looks, I don't like the way he dressed, that is when you're not doing things right. You let your conception and you let your conceptual thought overrule, and that is what we call the dirt defilement that cover our Buddha seeds in us. So I think our master wants us to learn, like, when we look at anyone, all we have for those people is just compassion for them. And because when we start labeling people, that is when we get drawn into all the emotion, and that takes us away from our bright and tranquil self. So that's how I understand it.
모노 라에 데르시다 치단 당기 딩엘 깨지시 교주로 미타모랑게 셰도로 총선 모난 겐디는 코에로 지나 남뷰 그 산스크리트 식 페지단사 알레알레 티예 딜로르타 콜라고레 남규 근시래로 단에 파자 수들이다 미 총들이 좀 미 총들이 아니스 남시 파자 수도 칭진에니 보다 보고 사와께서 딩음에 파자 요로 다 먹을라시나 보고도 좀 셈게 파자 요로 데 콘족에다 류기권에 남규들이 되어 맡는 셈나론 다 간다디 요레스 남도기 칼라고레 똑배기 디체시 요레스 단도 현재 당부 되시다 니와데니 람상 아주 매직 통선나 데라 칼라고레 데 소르웨기 람사 탁주 마저 저 소르와 관계와들 데라 조다로 마저제 남도 조마다제 소르와 다가랑 샤고 그래서 계시들 조다 제신다지 야가다 두가다 근데 용스는 조다 디왕기 칼라고레 마리 딕딥사 딕딥 디켄게니 칼라고레 지게 산제 리카 세모티베 딘데기 다카로 디과사야다 딘데기 디치 모랑 고단들이 로스코스 데 다가스 모랑 삼주인사 탄다디 치워드 저와요 돌아 주심 수정 You're saying they are, as you said, the mental imprints or latencies, they are further kind of different types of imprints and how they actually become imprints when moving on to next life to another. Jamba Bari Jida Jamba Dankondo Sambo de Andeshin de Teda de Jesu Galo Jingawa de Tamje Tusum Shebe Gawa Tamje Yumo Soto Daji Jeve Zawa de Sambo in the land is circled by snow-white mountains, the source of all happiness and benefits, flows in your person, jealousy, tension, and gyatso. Humanity samsara ends, just as the bodies of women used to attain omniscience. and surrender virtue to. So now I do dedicate these submits to train and following the footsteps. As all the victorious Buddhas are past, present, and future, praise, dedication to Supreme. So now I do dedicate this source of my merits for things of life.